great guests tonight. Jason Offutt and William Pullin. I mean, we covered monsters, right? Cryptids, and we covered, a little bit about UFOs. What more can you get off of a radio show? Anyway, we'll be back in 2 minutes. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. We'll catch you in a few.
What we are asking for from the government is full disclosure. Because we know what we're seeing, and there are too many of them. We're not going to...
As I gaze upon the annals of time, one thing that comes through: we are not alone in this universe. It's a thought that rings true. Ancient cave dwellers drew spacecraft on the walls. It's a recurring theme. I've seen the same thing while walking late at night, and I know it's not a dream.
From Malmstrom to Manat, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea.
If you tell the truth, they will ridicule everything you say and do. It's all part of a deception. It's a puppet master's tool. And I've seen those craft shut down the silos from 10 miles away. And there ain't nothing that the Pentagon...
Roof of Broadcasting Building. I'm speaking from the roof of Broadcasting Building, New York City. The bells you hear are ringing to warn the people to evacuate the city as Martians approach. Estimated in the last 2 hours, 3 million people have moved out along the roads to the north. Hutchison River Parkway is still kept open for motor traffic. Floyd bridges to Long Island hopelessly jammed. All communication with Jersey Shore closed 10 minutes ago.
You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark with our host, Gary Anderson.
And that is me. Well, we got about 29 minutes to go. Again, check out our website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. I have the guests that's coming up all week listed, a little bit about each one. I updated the gallery. James Krischbaum, our news guy, our reporter, his mug is in there too. For you can see what I look like. You can see what he looks like. Of course, I'm the better one of the two of us, but that's just my opinion. But anyway, and again, if you want to be a guest on the show or you have a story you want to share, you can get a hold of Linda. She's the one of the bookers for the show, and that's at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. That's nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. Send us a message. Let us even know if you like the show or you hate it. Anyway, Kurt Douglas today turned 103.
Yeah, that guy, he's everlasting bunny. That guy's been going on and on. I've seen his movies that are almost 80 years old, just like that broadcast you were just playing. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. He was one great actor, and is. I hate to say it. I mean, let's face it, he's been in some really heavy movies. And they, because then they didn't have the special effects. They didn't have all this stuff. It was more dependent on great actors. And he certainly, falls in with one of the greats like John Wayne and Kirk Douglas and a bunch of other ones. And I just want to wish him a happy birthday, 103. Let's see if he can make it to 105.
Yeah, God bless him. I've seen some of those classic movies, and you're right. He could carry a movie just himself.
Oh, yeah. Now, we had good topics tonight. We had Jason Offutt talking about, classic American monsters on. And then we had William Pullin on talking about, UFOs. And people, you need to check out his Facebook Live show and, get involved with it. If you've seen a UFO or whatever, or what your feelings are, when he's on live doing a show, you can actually, chat with him and, maybe get some answers.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of good topics, covered a lot of different cryptids and different UFO sightings and even giants.
Oh, yeah. I'm just wondering if you're going to have to recall back here in a little while because, it's like clockwork. I don't understand why.
In 12 minutes, I will be calling you back.
I think what we need to do is get you set up on a business account with Skype. Then you don't have that problem.
I don't know what it is. It's weird. It's like they give me a 4-hour allowance and that's it. I'm cut off. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Of course, I don't have that problem. I could be here talking all night long, but the 4-hour show. Most shows, their talk shows, are what 2-3 hours. We're now 4 hours, and we cover 2 guests a night, and we try and make it exciting. You do the news. We get in, 2 people during the week, to give reports on cryptics, and another person, Ryan, to give a report. Well, Tobias Whalen gives us cryptic reports once a week, and Ryan gives us reports of UFO sightings each week. So, he'll be back on, by the way, I think Thursday night.
Yeah, we've got it all covered between what I report daily, and then they've got a weekly report. Then we've got the guests that are on for a total of about 2.5 hours between the two of them, I believe. So yeah, that's a lot of paranormal talking going on right there.
Oh yeah, and you find all but where on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. Again, the show I remember 2 years ago, and I listened the other night. I was listening to some of the shows back when I first started. Tell you what, they're going to be coming off the archives probably in the next month. And I'm going to trim down about 100 of the old shows because they just don't meet the standards.
Right. Oh, yeah. You kidding me? Your show from even just a year ago, not to mention 2 years ago, it's come a long way, a lot better. I think you've tweaked it where it's getting better quality-wise with guests and you, all of us. Everything about it has gotten more up to speed and more better.
Well, don't forget, I was retired for 10 years when I came back on. That's a long time being out of radio. And I had to find myself. And at the start, I really, I was iffy about doing it. I must have been doing a show at the start, Motorcycle Talk by Gary. Come on. Nothing about it. I love motorcycles. That's been all my life, but nobody listened to it. And then, it was being a new show, even in the paranormal back then. It was hard to get good guests. All I could get was, I hate to say it, new authors, and mediums on. And, I hate to say it, it kind of burnt me a little bit. And now we have no problem getting the top guests out there, like Whitley and the guests we just had, the 2 of them here tonight, this example of what we got coming. And then I have Mark Cushman coming on along Vic. Now, Vic, if you ever got into Star Trek, he created 10 episodes, the fan episodes of Star Trek, where Star Trek continues. And I tell you, of all the fan-based shows on Star Trek, he was probably the very best, right down to his acting, to, the capability of the set and all that stuff. So he's going to be coming on here along with Mark Cushman. We're going to be talking more about Star Trek. Again, people love talking about Star Trek. And so we're going to talk about more things about Star Trek that people don't even know about. So, hey, it's fun. We're going to go to the new frontier where no man has ever gone before.
Yeah, there's still a lot of Trekkie fans out there. Heck, I would say if they even came back with the series again, like the original, it would probably be successful. I wouldn't doubt it because, again, it didn't really fail in ratings. It was just more of a ego power trip thing, I think, among the powers that be.
No, that wasn't it. What it was filmed at Desilu Studios, okay? At the same time that was going on, they had, what was that spy show? It was Mission Impossible was going on. Now, Lucy Ball, had to finance this because it was owned by Lucille Ball. And the board of directors told Lucille Ball that Star Trek was going to be too expensive to produce, to make it, the sets, everything that back at that time to make each show. And it bankrupted her. It bankrupted the studio where she lost Desilu. The show never lost its ratings. In fact, when it was going to be dropped, they got enough people and they picked it up another year. It was dropped because the cost to produce it was so expensive. That's what killed the show. It wasn't the listener. I mean, the people watching it. It was the people, the cost to produce it, and a lot of people don't realize that. So there was rumors going around saying, "Oh no, nobody was watching it." It's far from it. I mean, it was like on the top 10 of the top 100 shows. So what's that tell you?
Right. It's just unfortunate. It was more of a business thing because of finances. But yeah, it's too bad because it still had the ratings. So that was there.
Oh yeah, and the reason we know that is Mark Cushman, with Roddenberry, they got together and Roddenberry gave him all the notes of making the show. Every note. Everything from the directors, right down to the writers, right down from the network to Roddenberry. And from the Lucille Ball from the studios. All this stuff. So that's where Mark wrote his book about Star Trek. And, again, it killed where the rumors were, saying it was because it was bad people watching it. There wasn't enough people watching it. Far from it. A lot of shows today, if they had as many people who were glued to Star Trek then as what they have now, they would, a lot of shows wouldn't be being canceled.
No, they would cherish that those numbers that they got for sure. I guarantee you that.
And look at when we had the guests on about the studio, where people go and check out, the mock-up of the Enterprise or, that class starship in Georgia. How many people go see it? Look at the guests that called in from San Francisco.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Yeah. And then you think about how many fan-based, fans go out there and they make a show or several shows of Star Trek, their interpretation of Star Trek. I mean, it's a fan base out there. How many years has it been? And it's a huge base of Trekkies out there. And there's going to be a big base of Trekkies out there. So that's what we got coming up in the future. We're going to be talking about UFOs. We're going to be talking about ghost hunting. I got guests coming on about Bigfoot, time travel, you name it. They're coming on. A lot more talking about abductions. Terry Lovelace is coming on for 4 frickin' hours to talk everything about his abduction and more.
I love when Terry's on. I always learn something more. Always get something. He always expands on something more they hadn't told. Because think about it, that was a whole, not just one day event in his life. It was a few days, and it takes more than probably a few hours to tell it. So the more he comes, the more we learn, and it's always just edge of your seat kind of material.
Oh yeah, especially when you're out camping, right? And you don't have nobody next to you other than your buddy. And you see these lights coming and you don't know what they are. So then you decide to go to bed. And then all of a sudden you hear like a locomotive, the diesel locomotive sound. And you look out of your tent and you see a UFO. And then you see those weird lights. And then you see aliens. And the next thing you know, you're being abducted. I mean, come